It is currently the 4th of March and here we go with the news for today. Just getting the first article up on the phone. The Italian politics is going Berlusconi populism on neither who will play in Italy at the polls. Will Russia meddle in Italy's election? Italians queue to vote in election see ending in political gridlock. Italy goes to the polls after their first election campaign. Berlusconi prepares for a role of power broker as Italians vote in election that split the country in three. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to choose one. It's like I might be guessing it on Twitter in one of the next parts, depending on how many parts that I do this in. This one's from this second article and final article now. It's from The Guardian. We have lost a giant athletic world, hail Sir Roger Bannister. Sebastian Coe pays tribute to British athlete who was first to break the 4-minute mile. Sir Roger Bannister, the first athlete to sprint through the 4-minute mile barrier, has been hailed as a trailblazer who made the impossible possible and inspired generations of British people to take up sports following his death at aged 88. Sebastian Coe, president of the athletics governing body, the IAAF, led the tributes, but also came from medicine, academia and sports administration, feels that Bannister also took with vigour and considerable success, during he hung up his spikes aged just 25. This is a day of intense sadness both for our nation and for all of us for all of us in athletics, said Lord Coe, who also held the mile world record during his track and field career. There's not a single athlete of my generation who was not inspired by Roger and his achievements, both on and off the track. He made the impossible possible. Bannister had only decided at the last minute to make an attempt on the mile record on 6th of May 1954 because he feared the high winds and rain would scupper his chances. He was urged on by a boisterous crowd at the Effie Road track in Oxford, an expert paced by Chris Brasher and then Chris Chataway. He came home in 3 minutes 59.4 seconds. The world's best runners had been attempting the 4-minute barrier for a quarter of a century. It was as much of a psychological barrier as it was a physical barrier. Bannister's assault allowed mankind to enter the world filled with new possibilities, said Coe. It was a moment in history, the heart of a nation, and boosted morale in a world that was still in low ebb after the war. We have all lost a giant and for many of us, deep and close friendship. After retiring as an athlete, Bannister became a doctor, then consultant neurologist, and a role he served with distinction, as well as the first chairman of a sports council, where he led the Sports for All campaign that expanded access to sport across Britain. He was knighted in 1975 and a decade later became a Master of Pembroke College at Oxford University. The University Chancellor, Lord Patton of Barnes, called Bannister a superb doctor and servant of the college. He was a man of great distinction and honour in every sense, he added. At the age of 88, he was still an active supporter of the university, and we'll miss him enormously. Yet what struck many of those who met him was how humble he was despite his myriad achievements. As the UK sport chairman Catherine Granger, 5-time Olympic rowing medalist, said, Sir Roger will always be remembered as a man who set the standard for British sports on the world stage. In the few times I was lucky enough to meet him, Sir Roger was incredibly modest about his own extraordinary sporting performances, but always generous to others and those who came after him. Hugh Brasher, event director at the London Marathon, said that Bannister's friendship with his father, Chris and Chataway, had sustained in later life. They were like the Three Musketeers in many ways, he said, and Sir Roger was incredibly erudite, well-read, kind, and just wonderful man. I believe breaking the 4-minute mile puts him at the very top of the sporting pantheon. He added the memories of the day had endured for 64 years. I believe they will last for another century at least. It is an absolutely iconic moment, not just for British but world sport. Paula Radcliffe, the women's marathon world record holder, also paid tribute. He was a real trailblazer, she said. What he did on the academic side was so impressive too, combining study and sport. He grew up hearing stories about him. I grew up hearing stories about him, learning his story, and to meet him was a real privilege. Mo Farah, who has won more Olympic and world track and field medals than any other British athletes, said he was also saddened by the news. I've met him several times throughout my career, and he was always very humble, supportive and encouraging, he added. In a statement, his family said that Bannister, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2011, had died peacefully. Surrounded by his family, who were as loved by him as he was loved by them, he banked his treasure in the hearts of his friends. End of article. Bad news for if you're living in Buxton. Trains remain suspended between Buxton and Hazel Grove, which rings bells to me because I'm kind of on that line. Not completely, as I'm one stop before Hazel Grove, if you know from my uni videos. From the Buxton Advertiser, train service remains suspended between Buxton and Hazel Grove. Northern has said it will not be operating any trains between Buxton and Hazel Grove on Saturday 3rd of March, which was yesterday. Services on the line have been suspended in both directions since Thursday evening due to heavy snow and strong winds affected in the area. An amended timetable has been due to run on Saturday during the planned 24-hour walkout by members of the RMT over the role of train guards and driver-only operated trains. There was a strike yesterday as well. Sharon Keefe, Northern's regional director, said the wintry conditions have meant that we have been forced to cancel some services we planned to run during RMT's strike action on Saturday. Conditions are still challenging for everyone, and we'll continue to keep customers updated and advise them to plan ahead carefully by checking our website, northernrailway.co.uk. Sharon added, I would like to thank all our customers who have shown patience and understanding this week as we have battled against some of the worst snow and ice we have seen for several years. Our staff continue to do a fantastic job keeping as many people as possible on the move to thank them for superb and ongoing team effort. As a spokesman added, as a result of various closures due to poor weather conditions, rail replacements cannot be provided between Hazelgrove and Buxton in both directions. Customers are invited to use alternative routes from Macclesfield and New Mail Central, where your tickets will be accepted for travel. On the roads, Derbyshire County Council said only one main route into Buxton is currently open. The town can be accessed via the A6 from both north and south. High Peaks buses is operating a Skyline 199 service between Buxton and Manchester Airport, which will not be calling at Peakdale. The Transpeak service running between Derby and Buxton will not be calling at Ashford, Teddington or Chelmorton. For updates on other services, see twitter.com/highpeaklive. Thank God I don't live quite as far away as Buxton. And then fingers crossed I've got trains tomorrow as well. End of part 1. Here we go with part 2. Weather-related water problems hit 20,000 London homes. Not something you'd really hear from London, considering London's well off. Brighton and Hove Albion 2-1 to Arsenal. 6th man arrested in fatal Leicester shot blast inquiry. Man City win against Chelsea 1-0. Supermarket shoppers post photos of empty shelves. Russia's presidential election looks like a show staged by the Kremlin. I raided the toy box to explain why, as you do. World Indoor Athletics Championships, Andrew Pozzi wins 60 metres hurdles gold. Gender equality, actor Michael Sheen would take pay cut. Students recreate film posters with black leads. May Laidlaw family wants more done to tackle off-road bikers. Residents evacuated after Harold Hill explosion. Scottish Government warns employers over snow days pay docking. Lots of my friends are miserable because they can't get a job, or they're doing something that they don't want to do. I definitely feel better off in that. Return time murder victims' belongings, says MP. Jamie Murray has won 20th career doubles title after he and Brazilian Bruno Soares were victorious at Mexico Open for second year running. After shocking news of David Astori's death, all Serie A fixtures today have been cancelled. Murder investigation after Londonderry stabbing. Birmingham murder period after gunshot victim dies. Lewis Waterstone cordoned off after reports of fight. Crews tackled wildfires on Isle of Barra. Miss Piggy has some strong feelings about this year's Oscars. Effie's continued to get Scotland moving and back to work on Monday. Meet Abdullah. She's Egypt's first official minibus driver. The forest starting to set in now, but parts of northern England and Scotland will take longest to see blues disappearing from the map. The story of Vladimir Putin's new invisible nuclear weapons is becoming even more surreal. This weekend, Russian papers are discussing what names to give them. Suggestions include Peacekeeper and Vladimir. Sorry. UK weather rural areas still cut off despite fall. New homes crack down on NIMBY councils, Sajid Javid. Karelian aggressively managed accounts report suggested. Evolving broadcasting may mean less money. Conman Carl Mould resurfaces with scam targeting actors. Elsie Freeman 1998 murder has hallmarks of a burglary gone wrong. Matt Smith nearly turned down Doctor Who. Syrian farmer throws away 8,000 litres of milk. Forklift smashes hole in Lloyd's Bank drawing cash machine. Sorry. Man charged with fatal fire in Fermanagh. John McDonnell spring statement must help ailing councils. World Indoor Athletics Championships, Laura Moore takes silver as Doyle wins 400 metre bronze. Moving on to BBC World News. Catalonia, Spain, pro-unity marches parody secessionists. Jailed school shooter praises Florida students activists. Slovakia's leaders clash over journalists' killing. Russia's presidential election looks like South Africa listeria source of world's worst outbreak found. What is the source of the listeria outbreak? Africa says it has finally traced the source of the listeria outbreak that's killed 180 people in the past year. Said to make it the worst in history. The source is a factory operated by Enterprise Foods in Polokwane in Limpopo. Sorry for butchering any of those names and any future names. More facilities are being tested to see if they contributed to the outbreak, which infected almost 1,000 people. The health minister warned cross-contamination of other processed meats could have occurred in shops. Avoid all processed meat products that are sold as ready to eat, Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi told journalists at the National Institute of Communicable Diseases on Sunday afternoon. He told pregnant women to avoid processed meat like the plague, reported Times Live. Some people with the disease causes high temperatures, vomiting and diarrhea, and elderly people with compromised immune system and babies both in the womb and newborn are particularly vulnerable. More than 16 environmental samples from the Enterprise Polokwane factory tested positive for Listeriosis monocytogenes strain ST6, a particularly virulent strain. Mr. Motsoaledi said a ready-to-eat sausage known as Polony, made by Enterprise Food and RL Seafoods, would be recalled from stores. A shortage of the solution used for testing for Listeria bacteria meant the results of the testing at Polokwane factory were delayed by 2 weeks. In ICD's Dr. Junior Thomas told Times Live, it's believed that the factory will be closed down. The Listeria bacteria is hard to test for, as it is not homogeneously distributed in food. It can also hide away in cracks or niches in factories. Consumers who stored recalled products in their fridges should disinfect them with diluted bleach. What is listeriosis? It can be caught from food containing Listeria bacteria or close contact with farm animals. Cases are usually involve unpasteurized milk or dairy products such as camembert and brie. Pre-packed foods including sandwiches and patty can also contain Listeria. Symptoms include high temperatures, flu-like symptoms, vomiting and diarrhea. Most people infected display no symptoms, but elderly and young people are vulnerable. End of article. Leo Messi's 600 professional goals. Big one. Barcelona have beaten their nearest rivals Atletico Madrid 1-0. So now 8 points clear with 11 games to go. A baby chimp is being flown to a new home in DR Congo, where after it was rescued by poachers. China official in hospital after catching a falling girl. Switzerland TV license voters set to reject abolition. Trump trade war. China vows retaliation if tariffs bite. Papua New Guinea earthquake. Tens of thousands need urgent aid. Syria war. Residents flee eastern Ghouta bombardment. David Astoria. Fiorentina captain in Italy international dies at the age of 31. President Trump mocks Jared Kushner at annual debate. Germany parties strike coalition deal. Moscow missing Italians. Police face criminal proceedings. Italy election polls set to operate in unpredictable contest. China's two sessions to cement Xi's power. Pakistan's street fighter who will fill the void left by Asma Jahangir. Who will fill the void after Asma Jahangir? Who will succeed the woman who fought for Pakistan's soul? Last month, one of modern Pakistan's most extraordinary women died. Tributes to Asma Jahangir as a champion of human rights and defender of the oppressed. But it is hard to see who will now take her fight, as the BBC's M. Ilyas Khan reports. It has been said that no combination of tributes paid to Asma Jahangir can adequately define her, but perhaps the one that best encapsulates what it was like to go against her was Street Fighter. Pakistan in 2018 is a place which still faces many problems she spent decades fighting. It is a deeply divided society, where invisible forces battle over the direction of the country, where people suddenly disappear, and where rights groups say abuses are still routine. She took an oppressive military regime and fought relentlessly against abuses. to set up legal aid firms and the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan (HRCP). She worked for the rich and the poor, but she was hated by those in power, powerful interest groups who promoted a conservative vision of religion and patriotism, though it to be backed by elements within the military. They would not tolerate a vision of Pakistan, but Miss Jahangir understood this polarised Pakistan and thought it blazed a path that she believed could help the nation make the right choice. We can't live in her shadow forever. In the wake of her death, many have said that there are no fighters quite like her. There is the HRCP she set up, legal firms manned by some strong characters, but without her towering personality that commanded global authority. Activists have felt the vacuum. Her funeral mourners wailed at that with Miss Jahangir gone, there were now orphans. But Ismat Jahan, left-wing activist who's been on the scene since the 1980s, had this to say: "It is true, maybe true, but it reflects our own weakness. Wherever a challenge to our way of thinking arose, Asma was there to respond to it, and we didn't have to try much harder. But now she's gone, we have to release that we cannot live in her shadow forever. We have to pull our act together and start tackling those challenges ourselves. Mourning her death won't work, but emulating her life will." The essence of her success, friends have said, was her unique courage. She never minced her words. In one television interview she called Army Generals duffers, saying that they only play golf, have parties, grab plots of lands, and are in the habit of using our children as their human shields. "Sit in the barrack, have your plots, eat, drink, have a party, but leave us alone," she advised. She was equally harsh on religious lobbies. She said she was against all religious extremism. "I'm in fact a secular person. I consider all religions equal, and I don't have a religion of my own." This was a daring, some would say rash, admission to make in a country with harsh Islamic laws implemented not only by courts but also vigilante groups carrying out street justice, and there were consequences. In 2005, during a riot in Lahore, the police tried to disrobe her in public, reportedly on orders from the government, which was headed by military ruler Pervez Musharraf. They were restrained by her supporters, but they did succeed in tearing off her shirt, bearing her back. What was she doing at that point? She had been trying to hold a mixed gender marathon by highlighting violence against women, a combative spirit. In 2013, a leaked American intelligence report revealed that elements within Pakistan's security establishment had plotted to assassinate her after she embarked on a legal campaign to recover missing political activists in the restive province of Balochistan, where the military had gone to suppress an armed insurgency. Despite attempts on her life, she never left the country or even went into hibernation, as advised by friends. Instead, she retaliated with combative spirit. But perhaps she was protected by her global reputation. That same leaked US report warned of an international and domestic backlash should anything happen to her. This is a luxury afforded to few in Pakistan, where there are so many fearless campaigners who work just as hard to suffer for it too. But even her childhood and family were steeped in Pakistani's political division, quite literally. Pakistan's general election was held in 1970, was won by the Awami League, a party based in what was then called East Pakistan. West Pakistan, which dominates the country and controlled East Pakistan's resources, failed to transfer power in time, sparking a rebellion in East Pakistan which ended in seceding from West Pakistan and emerging as an independent country, Bangladesh, after military intervention by Pakistan's arch rival India. Asma Jahangir, father Ghulam Gilani, was involved with the Awami League and was jailed when he criticised military action against Awami League supporters in East Pakistan. The anger and frustration felt in Pakistan made people like Mr. Gilani targets painted as traitors, Hindus and agents of India. I'm going to say end of part 2 and come back with part 3. End of part 2. Part 3, finishing off with the article from part 2. One of Asma Jahangir's acquaintances shared a story. One evening in 1973, she was at a neighbourhood party where some girls began telling others to beware that there was a traitor in the house. When she heard this, young Jahangir commanded the microphone and let them all have a piece of her mind. Then in frustration she stepped out onto the lawn alone and broke into tears. That's when Tahir Jahangir, the son of a businessman and a neighbour, came up from behind and comforted her. They were married in 1974, setting a precedent. Another example of triumphing over adversity provided to be historic and came on the legal front, long before she became a lawyer. When her father was arrested on charge of treason, sent the family a message asking them to file a petition for his release. Asma went to a lawyer who, believing she was a minor, asked where her mother was. Mother had at the time gotten very depressed and upset. She had taken sleeping pills and gone to sleep. So I told him that you write down the petition and I'll drive home and get it signed by her. And then he looked at me and asked, "How old are you?" I said I was 18. And he said, "You need not take it to me or you can sign it yourself." She recounted in an interview once. This case, titled as Asma Jilani versus the Federation of Pakistan, is one of the most widely quoted precedents in case law, and is the only case in Pakistan history military dictator was declared a usurper. Ismat Jahan is now putting together a Women's Democratic Front, a reincarnation of socialist campaigners that burst onto the scene in 1968 as a military dictatorship was about to be ousted, and before the secession of East Pakistan. Perhaps a successor will be found among them. End of article. Routine abduction. Children in Aleppo return to school. Pro-Assad forces recaptured 10% of eastern Ghouta, monitors say. End of part 3. Part 4. North Korea will counter any US military exercise with South Korea. Mark Hamill, I refuse to believe Luke Skywalker is gone. White House shooting, man shoots and kills himself outside France. Manchester United news, Gary Neville knows who should replace Jose Mourinho. Most terrific goals captured by Google Maps stills. UK weather, rail passengers face continued disruption. Brexit Dublin cast doubts over UK latest Northern Ireland border plan. Manchester United news, Anthony Martial left out of squad to face Crystal Palace. Android 9.0 P release date revealed. Donald Trump brands himself madman in fiery nuke warning to Kim Jong-un. What made a Kree cry the one and only time in front of her sister revealed? Five new garden towns could be built between Oxford and Cambridge. Spanish Navy captain dies in Antarctica after falling overboard. Rest in peace. Arsenal players getting away with murder. David Seaman. Blackburn Rovers draw against Wigan Athletic 2-all. Dante ready for Anthony Joshua after beating Louis Ortiz. Russians pressured to attend Putin star-studded election rally. Shameful enough of a shameful kowtowing to the Saudis. Pamela Anderson thought she had special powers after the babysitter died. Terminal Linda Nolan planned final party as she turns down chemotherapy. I'm born to do this. Condemned by cast, India's sewer cleaners risk death daily. Thai efforts to protect location for DiCaprio film, The Beach, from the tourist damage. 2 more Scottish universities to offer teacher training. David Astori, I've already done him a couple of times. James Bulger killer John Venables is moved to a new prison. Baby Emma saved from deep snow in Dublin Airport. Oh, how nice. Kylie Jenner shares first close-up of baby daughter Stormy. End of part 4, end of video.